Okay, folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking, and I've got my buddy Brian from BKXC with me tonight, and we'll be talking about the whole one-by drivetrain transmission craze, if you will, for mountain bikes. All right, folks, once again, thanks for tuning in to Bike Chat. Brian and Gene. Tonight we're going to talk about one-by transmissions, or rather drivetrains for mountain bikes. It seems to be the craze nowadays. In fact, like if you look for a new bike, one of the things you're looking at is, you're looking at that ring and you're going, well, it's got to be a one-by, and it seems to be pretty. I like it, actually. It seems to be the way to go, but I've got a pretty big gap between when I was riding, I stopped, and then started riding again. So when I got back into it, it's not like one-bys came out yesterday. I don't really know when they actually came out, but they're still kind of new to me. The first bike I got with a one-by was my Remedy, okay, and that was a 1x11 SRAM GX level, and works pretty good. I think I'm feeling good with it, but what was your when did you get introduced to the one-by thing, Brian?
So I think the first one-by I rode was earlier this year.
Really?
On the Giant Trance Advance. I think because I'm trying to think, past couple years there have been one-bys that started to come out, but I hadn't ridden any demo bikes really until this year, when I've gone on this crazy tear of just riding a bunch of demo bikes. And pretty much every demo bike I've ridden, except for the one I rode on Thursday in Lake Tahoe, the Trek Fuel EX 9.8. It's the 27.5 plus version of that bike, and that was a 2x. So it was very, very interesting to just finally get back on a 2x after all these 1x drivetrains over and over and over.
Now, but the bike you had, again, sadly, unfortunately stolen, that wasn't a 1x?
No, that was a triple, I think. It was
no way.
Yeah.
Because that, I know that's gone on the wayside a while.
Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
I mean,
but yeah.
The triple was really just a 2x with a spiky bash ring. Yeah, I mean, because that's all we do is beat the crap out of that ring.
Yeah. Yes.
So my fat bike that I got was a 2x, and I wanted to make it a 1x. Okay, why did I? Honestly, I think I just wanted to do it for the craze of doing it. That's all, really. But I basically hacked it together myself, and I used some components from a company called, I'm looking at the monitor so I know the names, everything. WolfTooth Components. They make a really nice narrow, wide ring. So what I really liked about them is, since it's a fat bike, I needed a lot of times when you change over and convert to a 1x, you convert your outer ring. Okay, so if you have a 2x, you take your outer one and you put like a 30 or a 32 on it, and you call it a day. And your granny gear just stays there. Oh, I mean, you get rid of it, but it's
gone. Yeah.
Right. Now, what these guys do is they make a narrow, wide ring for the granny gear. So I think I'm running like a 28. And then you could put a bash guard for the outer ring. So that got me into the 1x world. And I did a couple other things, but I like it because of the simplicity and everything.
Definitely.
But I don't feel like I've lost any real gears. But what I've been doing a little research over here. I figured, because I knew we were going to talk about this, I wanted to have a couple things up. 1x14, like that's kind of, I don't know. I mean,
that'd be crazy. Yeah.
I mean, Shimano's got a 14 one out. The SRAM XX1 Eagle, that I'm pretty sure. I'm looking at it over here.
12.
Is it a 12? I don't know. I thought it was a 14. Maybe I'm wrong. What do I got over here? Drivetrain, Hassel. I don't know. Like it's. Oh, here we go. SRAM's front. Okay, maybe that one's a 12. I know Shimano has a 14, and I got it over here right now. Shimano's 14-speed XT Samurai 14. Like, I'm looking at the specs, dude. Like the cassette, it's like a slither to foot. I don't know.
I haven't seen Eagle in person yet, but I've the
Yeah.
pictures make it just look giant, and
Yeah.
it's almost like SRAM changed
you're
the
right.
color on, like it made that big pie plate black, so you don't actually see it, like it's kind of camouflage.
You're right. You're right. No, I think you're right. I think the Eagle is a 12 by. You're right. And the outer one I'm looking at is black. Like you said, everything else is gold.
Yeah.
I don't know about the 14. I'll be honest. I don't really feel like I've lost anything going to a 1x11. The trails that I ride, they don't really give me the opportunity to just go like balls to the wall. I need like the smallest little ring on my cassette. So I don't really even need that low. I don't have the opportunity. In fact,
Yeah.
I don't know if you got to watch it, but Seth, from Seth Bike Hacks, he just put up a video. It's kind of fun. It's called the New Freaking Jersey, because he actually was over here in New Jersey riding over in Ringwood.
That's great. Yeah.
And I've been on those trails. It's only like 35 minutes away from my house. And when you see the point I'm saying is when you see these trails, because I don't know West Coast riding and I don't know Florida riding where he's from, but when you see him, you'll look at him, you're like, there's really not that much space to open it up like that. I want my granny, So I guess I'm pretty happy with my 40. You can get like a 40, you can get a 44, I think, or a 42 on the lowest gear now. And that compensates enough for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I found a lot of it's good that now that I've tested a lot of these different bikes, I'm starting to actually be able to form an opinion. So the one thing I did notice when I did that enduro race a couple weeks ago, I'm on my dad's bike. It's a 2x, and I'm in that race going all out. And there were times where I was trying to get into the hardest gear. There was enough wide open sections where I'm just pumping and pumping, and I can't keep it in the hardest front ring because my thumb is like the trigger that drops it back into the first front ring. It's just a hair trigger. So I'll go around a turn or something and bump it, and then boom, it's back down. So I even said in that video, I wish I had a 1x, because that was the perfect example. No chatter, it's just boom. You've got the front and you've got your whole range up and down.
Yeah. Now, folks, if you see Brian look like Max Headroom, he's doing this on location from a hotel, so he's getting fuzzy. I heard you fine, so everyone heard what you said, but all of a sudden you got like blah, blah, blah. But I was glad you said that, because I was just going to say, I watched your video and I remember hearing you saying, oh man, I wish I had a 1x right now.
Yeah.
Because you're right. It simplifies the process.
Yes. Gear management.
It is. So I think the 14 speed, okay, first of all, they made it clear it's only going to be on their high end. So one of the reasons why, in fact, Brian asked me, Gene, why do you like the 14x so much?
Gene, what I hear you have this obsession with this 14x. Why do you like it so much?
Funny you ask. The reason why I like the 14 is because it's going to make the 11s cheap. Because I don't have enough money to go out and buy. I mean, dude, that 14 is going to cost crazy money. The chain alone is going to have to be this super slither, made out of some kind of space age Martian metal, so it doesn't rip.
Yeah.
I can't afford that. But what it's doing is, first of all, it's completely legitimizing the whole 1x technology, because they're not progressing anything else. Like the front derailleur, it's seen its day.
Yeah.
But the 14 is supposed to give you a smoother transition. It's really the idea,
Yeah.
But I don't really feel like I'm riding that. I'm almost like shit. What the hell?
Yeah.
No.
So I got to throw this other thing into the mix. So that 2x that I was talking about that I rode on Thursday in Lake Tahoe, that front derailleur shifted smooth as butter.
Uh-oh.
It was ridiculous.
Really?
It was the smoothest thing ever. Like they've got it right. I was talking to Sam, the owner of Over the Edge Sports in South Lake Tahoe, and he was like, "Oh man, if Shimano would have came out with this, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, it might have the whole 1x thing might not have taken off, just because I've never felt such a smooth shift, and you get both. But there was a lot of chatter on that bike, and that was one thing I kind of forgot to talk about in my my test ride video, was that it was loud. You could feel the chain slapping around, and that's one thing I've really grown to love about the 1x bikes, of how silent they are.
Yeah, because with the 1xs, you can also take and put not even really just a chain tensioner, but a chain guide. You see a lot of guys running those.
Yes.
Like it's almost just like a little rubber guide you mount underneath your chains, because your chain doesn't have to move up or down.
Exactly.
So
that was funny. When I one of the rides I did, Lake Tahoe. I forget exactly which bike it had, but it had a chain guide on it, and it's a one by.
Right.
And I happened to pedal backwards for some reason, and I wasn't shifting or anything like that, but that threw the chain off immediately when I pedaled backwards, and then it's got this chain guide on it. So in the video, I'm like, kind of like, how the hell am I supposed to get this on? And so actually, I got it back on.
Right.
It took a little bit of messing around, but that was kind of funny that the one bys are so prone to when you just backpedal a little bit that flew off.
Yeah, well, at least you can get like some chain guides if you want and stuff like that. I mean, I have to get one. I've always been a fan of E13. They make some good stuff, and I think like I've got some of their stuff up over here. There's a lot of companies like E13. Was it another one called OneUp Components? A bunch of these guys are making some nice, like if you want to convert over to a one by and do it on your own, so you can go and get that big pancake type of low gear on your rear cassette and convert over. So the fat bike that I converted, it actually was a 9-speed, so it made it a little bit harder to convert, because no one's doing anything with a 9-speed anymore. It's all, at least, so I actually, that's one of the reasons why I went with the small 28 in the front, because I couldn't do the mod to the rear cassette because it was a 9-speed. They don't do it for that. But the thing I do miss, though, about the 2-bys is, I mean, I'm not the most athletic dude in the world. I like my granny gear, dude. I mean, I don't want to get rid of that. So that's why I had to drop it to a 30 instead of a 32 in the front on my. I mean, I still need it, But one of the other nice things about the 1-bys, and we were talking about this in our last video, you now can change the design of the frame.
Yes.
Because you don't have to have the derailleur there. You don't need to compensate for how it's going to have to go so far, so that you don't need that anymore. Exactly.
It just pushes that technology forward, which is great. It's like, that's like, just like you were saying about anything new that comes out means that this year, the last year's stuff is going to be cheaper and it's even better. The XTR becomes XT. And it's like, that's one thing that I don't mind, that mountain bikes keep pushing forward and forward, because the trickle down effect is in full effect.
Yeah. I mean, when SRAM came out with their 1-by, the first one, the 11-speed one, it was like, oh wow, but it was so crazy expensive. And then they started coming out with the next level one, which allowed, and that was on my bike because I couldn't afford the other one. But now, with this 14, which we'll see. You'll probably eventually try one of those bikes that'll have a 14. I don't doubt it, and I'll be curious to hear your comments on it, because the way they do it, the idea again is to keep it a smoother shift. I just want to find out, did it mean anything to you or not?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. So, folks, what are you guys riding out there? So here's what I'd like to ask. Did you convert your bike over to a 1-by? Do you like it or do you regret it? I'd be really curious what components you're using. Like I said, I had very good success with WolfTooth. I should be doing some other reviews on some stuff from them pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. Did you buy a bike with a 1-by? Okay, and what did you get? Like, what's your overall experience with 1-by? I think you're pretty much getting the idea from us. Like, I'm giving 1-bys a thumbs up.
Yeah, me too. I definitely, my next bike's going to have a 1-by. That's just the way everything's going now.
Yeah.
So, and I've felt pretty dang comfortable on all my rides. There's been a few times where I'm at 9,000 feet of elevation and you're just dying, but that's going to be any bike you're riding. Even if it was a 5-pound bike, you're going to be dying.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think what you just said was a good point. Any of the new bikes that you spend a couple dollars on, anything over like around $1,500, it's all 1-by.
Yep.
You're almost looking at it saying, well, how could it be that expensive and not be a 1-by? So, but though, to your point, the other bike you rode, what was that bike again?
Trek Fuel EX 9.8 27.5 plus.
Holy Christ. That was a 2-by and it was shifting like butter. So but you just don't really see that though anymore. Like any higher end bike is all really a 1-by. So I think you're going to have to embrace the change, and go with it. But I'm very happy with it. I don't have a problem with it. Even just real estate on the handlebars, it's nice to not have that shifter there anymore.
Exactly. The dropper post lever can be right there and kind of have a nicer big throw.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, folks, that's all really we had for tonight. that's our little spiel on one buy. Do us a favor, leave us some comments. Let us know, like I said before, about what you're doing with one buys. And yeah. Oh, actually, one more thing. Do you have it on right now, Brian? Is that one of those?
I don't. This is orange.
I can't tell because the colors are a little off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Brian came out with a line of shirts. Okay, but this is a limited edition, one run red and white BKXE shirt. All right. So I got mine ordered.
Awesome.
He said I ordered 2, like you said, so I can keep one pristine in a glass box someplace, all right? Because it's going to be worth millions one day.
There you go. Yep. The early adopters. I'm so jazzed. You know, 2,500 subscribers, and I just know I have so much engagement and so many comments on all my videos. I just know that this is something special, and I just wanted to give you guys a way to support me and directly. You know, it is a fundraiser. It is like, you know, I can make a couple bucks off each shirt, so it's great. And I had kind of a expectation that it would be like, okay, I'd sell 25 shirts, 1% of the audience pretty much, and I've already blown past that. So I'm super happy, and it's only a couple days into it. I'm thinking maybe a couple more people will show up throughout the week and be like, whoa, hey. So it's a good start. It's a very positive indicator that I'm going to be able to do this on my own and keep the channel running and be sustainable. I'm very happy.
Well, and one thing, I just want to add one more thing to what you just said, then we'll close it down tonight because I don't want to make it. I like to gab a lot, but a buddy of mine does a video. It's called The Basic Filmmaker, but he made all this great content and put up this great show, and then there were a bunch of people complaining because he might actually make a little bit of money on this. So I just want to kind of come out and say it right now, Brian. I have no problem if you made money on the money I sent for you, because I know in my heart you're going to put it back towards this. And doing these videos myself, you know, some people give us product. I'm not going to lie to you. And I always make sure I clear in the beginning, but not everybody does. And for us to do this, every time you rent a bike, you said it on the last video, that's $100. Okay? So folks, if you like to hear about these bikes, would you rather spend $3,000, $4,000 and say, oh crap, I don't like it? Or would you rather buy a lousy t-shirt and help Brian so he can spend $100 and give you some points on a bike? I just I don't want to harp on it anymore. It just really ticked me off because I'm like, guys, he's not going out and buying like diamond rings and Rolex watches. He's putting the money right back into this. So that's my soapbox. So I hope you get the best success with it. I got my shirts. I'm holding you to the autograph.
Yeah. Get that silver Sharpie on there.
There we go.
Sure.
All right, folks. Well, look, this is Brian and Gene. Again, thanks a lot for joining Bike Chat. I don't know what we have for next week, but it's always pretty good. I have a great time doing it, so we'll think of something for you. All right? Good deal. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.